Power FM.
They really interact with the crowd, makes it nice.
Interact. Request. WhatsApp on 071-283-1172. You're in Power. Power FM.
Hi, Simba. I'm so pleased to welcome you to Diaspora Diaries. What is always striking about individuals for me is how they can use whatever little resource they have to build or better another. Drill for Life was initially your idea. After you came home in 2010, you say after 10 years, and you visited your own village, then other members did join in. This was much later on. So literally, you inspired the birth of drillforlife.org in the United States of America. What is Drill for Life?
Hi, Bridget. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that. And thank you for all you do as well. Yes, so Drill for Life is an organization that was created just to provide clean water to people. As you know, clean water is a human right. Clean water is life. I think we all need to have access to clean water. So therefore, because of that reason, when I went back home in 2010, this is, Zimbabwe. I grew up in Zimbabwe, right? So when I went back home, I realized that there was such a huge need for me to think about how can I make sure that my family, and not only my family, but, the people had clean water to drink. So that's the birth of Drill for Life, just there to provide clean water to the people, and hopefully not only the people of Zimbabwe, but as we grow bigger, hopefully it will be the sub-Saharan Africa. So we'll see how that goes. But again, thank you for that question.
Now, this project kicked off in 2014, and 8 or so years on, you have managed to assist our rural communities with fresh water. Your recent installation being in Wangezi in Chimanimani, this was in February this year. How many installations have you done since the project kicked off?
Yeah, that's a great question as well, Bridget. So since Drill for Life was born, we have up to date now, we have 13 clean water wells in different provinces. We have, in fact, we have now covered all the provinces in Zimbabwe except Matabeleland South, which is one of the provinces that we are looking for and looking over some of the requests that we are receiving from people. So we are working on our 14th clean water well, 14th borehole at the moment, and our hope is going to be in Matabeleland South. So we have covered all the other provinces, and we are now left Matabeleland South. And we're just going to go back. Once again, we look at the need, right? Which area, which village is going to have the more need of clean water. And that's where we focus on. And if that borehole can be able to save more other villages, that's when we provide that borehole to those people. We don't put borehole in one village or in anybody else, compound or homestead. We focus on an area which is so-called no man's land. This is where we put the ball at. Thank you.
Welcome. 'Cause. This is your favorite station. Power. Stay tuned.
100.9 FM. 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 100.9
For me, it's that joy, the ululations and the dance, from our elders when a well has been drilled for them. It brings so much relief just as you watch the developments. Are you working with other local community heads and, individuals in these areas you're installing, like Vanasabuk Vedu, Vekanzuru, etc.? For I'd like to believe that there should be some form of requirements, like there's gotta be boxes ticking before you can get into siting and then starting the work.
Yes, Bridget, we actually do work with local communities before we install the bore. So here's how the process works, right? We receive requests. We have so many requests that we do receive. Unfortunately, some of the requests that we receive are for individuals that want to have a bowl in their homestead or maybe a bowl on their farm, but we focus more on the villages so that it can serve the purpose of everyone, and also, having the villages doing some projects, right? So when we receive those requests, when we do the selection, we ask them to provide us with some evidence that there is really need for the clean water. And so once we qualify that, we send someone who is on the ground. We send our coordinator who is on the ground, and he goes to the village and they speak to the village head, they speak to the sabuk, they speak to everyone. When there is that agreement, then they come back, they let us know, they give us a report. Yes, there is really need in those areas or in that village that we need water. And then what we do is we send a sider after that. And the sider goes and checks to see where in the area can we find water which is not too deep, right? Where the water level is still good. And where we say no man's land, right? And then once the sider gives us a report, then we send the driller. The drillers goes out there and they drill a bowl. So now we have clean water for the village.
As a way to keep the project going, you do host a lot of fundraisers, like fairs and stuff in Ohio, where you are based. I know this year sometime that you had the Golf for Life tournament. It raised slightly over 6,000. Today you have organized a big family barbecue. How often do you fundraise, and what are some of the challenges faced, whilst you're doing so?
Hi, Bridget. Thank you once again for that question. So we do two types of fundraising in a given year, or at least this is what we are doing currently. I think we are going to be adding some more fundraisings in the coming years. So one of the fundraising we do is golf tournament. Golf tournament is done early in the year, usually in spring, March, April, around there. Latest May. That is our golf tournament. Now, there's quite a few challenges with that comes with that. First of all, we have to network, right? We have to network. We have to reach out to our golfers. We have to reach out to the community and figure out if number one is the date that we have picked up, is it a good date, right? And then secondly, do we not have other golf tournaments that are happening within that weekend? Because if we have an event the same weekend which other tournaments are happening, we may not be able to actually get any golfers to come. So that's one of the challenges. And then secondly, one of the events that we do, fundraising events, is we have an event sometime towards summer or right in summer, which is our Zimbabwean barbecue. On the Zimbabwean barbecue, we just cook food, we do barbecue, we do different types of dishes, beef stew, chicken stew, goat stew, we do peanut butter rice, salsa, different types of dishes, and really people love to try those dishes. But again, the challenge as well is to bring the crowd and to come up with a perfect weekend that we can be able to have everybody there. Now, once again, it's not easy because there is always something happening in different weekends, festivals happening in those weekends, and sometimes as a board, it's we have to meet once or every other week, so we can come up with a really good plan for that event. So that's not always easy, but we try to make it happen all the time. And the other thing that's also very important for me to mention is these fundraising events are where we can actually raise the funds to drill the boreholes. But at the same time, it doesn't always happen that way. We may have a goal of raising $6,000, right? Because a goal is between that maybe 6 to 9,000. So we may have a goal of raising 6,000, but we raise 3. So it's really a struggle to raise enough money for us to actually get to the ball. But at the same time, we also don't have donors that give us money on a monthly basis. So we depend on these fundraising events, and they have to really be perfect because we want to make sure that our fans or the people that like Drill for Life or that come to support us, we want them to come again in another year or in the next year. So we want to make sure that this event is close to perfect so they can tell their friends and their family, and we can continue building the crowd. There's always some hiccups, if you will, when we do these events. It's not always easy. But we appreciate all the support that we get. Once again, even from our Zimbabwean community, we appreciate everyone that comes to support us and also support Drill for Life so we can continue drilling clean water wells for everyone.
I think it is also important to note that, the water crisis is not just for us here, but it is actually a universal challenge with 2.5 billion people in the world not having access to adequate sanitation. You talk about 748 million people in the world not having access to safe water. They say that this is roughly like 1 in 10 of the population. Universal access to safe water and sanitation would probably save 2.5 million lives. This is per year. So to find people like, Simba Maswela, who has been our guest on the program, doing the amount of work that he's doing just to make sure that, he makes a difference. At times it's just like a drop in the ocean, but it does make a difference. And, I'm really glad that we've had a chance to speak to him and get to know what they are doing in Drill for Life, that's in Ohio in the United States of America.